We discussed how the Biden administration has abandoned its plans, at least for now, to force millions of taxpayers to pay for other people's gender transition procedures. That means surgeries, hormone treatments, even for children. Well, something else that the administration has been pushing for is getting delayed. It's planned to force Title IX sex discrimination prohibitions as encompassing discrimination based on gender identity and sexual orientation. The Biden administration's self-imposed April deadline for the proposed new rule was shifted to this month, as the Education Department Secretary Miguel Cardona revealed last week when asked about the progress in a committee hearing.
We are working on the new rules, and we're expecting next month that they are released in May.
So what could be behind the delay from an administration that has been so quick and relentless when it comes to pushing the LGBTQ ideology? Joining me now to talk about this is FRC Senior Fellow for Education Studies, Meg Kilgannon, who served at the U.S. Department of Education in the Trump administration. Meg, welcome back to the program.
Thanks, Tony. Great to see you.
So 2 days in a row, we're talking about rules that have not come about. The president said he wanted this in April. Now they pushed it to May. What's going on?
Well, the rulemaking process at Ed is very complicated, and the rule that for Title IX that was released in the DeVos administration wasn't released until 2020 because it took a lot of careful deliberation, including people from outside groups. So this accelerated timeline they've set for themselves is very difficult to meet under the best of circumstances.
Now, if they go through this process kind of sloppily, not crossing all the T's, dotting the I's, does it make it susceptible to challenge?
Sure. Well, the content of the rule, which I'll get to in a minute, definitely is going to make it susceptible to challenge. But what I think they didn't anticipate, and what I was really pleased to see, was a very fulsome effort on the part of our friends on the, in part of the vast right-wing conspiracy, or however we're characterizing ourselves these days, to really make substantive and important comments in the rulemaking process to them that they're going to have to consider and deal with. And so
like in the Obamacare rulemaking process, all of the feedback they got from the American people kind of put them back on their heels?
Right, exactly. So leaning into that and making sure that people are exercising their voices in their localities, that's also a factor in this.
Okay.
Because they understand that, yes, they're going to reissue the Title IX rule, which basically dealt with university Title IX enforcement. What they would like to do is expand the definition of sex to include gender identity, making it Title IX meaningless for women and, endangering children.
So just to be clear for our viewers and listeners, a rule is proposed. In this case, they were going to propose the rule this month or in April. They've now pushed it to the end of this month. So once the rule is proposed, then there's a period of comment from the public. Then they have to respond to those comments, and then, at a certain point, the rule can go into effect.
Right. And even then, the rule could face legal challenge. And if they decide to redefine sex to mean gender identity, I think you can expect a very, very significant legal challenge.
And it's
not
just groups like ours and our supporters and constituents across the country that are pushing back. Members of Congress are doing the same. In fact, we had Greg Steube was on the program earlier this week talking about his protection of women's sports, that he's pushing for a discharge. They have a discharge petition. He's trying to get the 218 signatures to force a vote on the House floor. This has become a big issue. I mean, you and I have been around a little while, and I would say 10 years ago, you couldn't get many Republicans to touch these issues.
Sure.
I remember when I fought some of these early battles against the whole LGBTQ agenda. Of course, back then, I don't even know that we called it the LGBT. It was just the homosexuals that were pushing a lot of these things, and the gay lobby. And people didn't want to talk about it. They weren't for it, but they didn't want to talk about it. But now you have Republicans leading the charge against this.
Well, when the issue starts to impact children, instead of just focusing around what adults might like to do in the privacy of their own bedrooms, when these ideas must be promulgated to children and explained to children outside the purview of parents and in secret from parents, this is when the public kind of has to speak
absolutely.
up.
And then what's happened is, this has gone from the privacy of someone's bedroom to the chalkboard in the classroom.
Exactly.
And the parents are saying, no. I mean, it's like Tip O'Neill, former House Speaker years ago, said all politics are local. There's nothing more local than what's happening with your children.
Absolutely. And it's great that people are becoming engaged, and we have lots of folks that are running for office now, running for school board, running for local county executive positions, and that is we desperately need for that to continue.
And on the way out, put in a plug for where people who want to run for school board can find out more information how to do it.
You go to www.frcaction.org/schools.
Somehow I knew you would have an answer to that. Meg Kilgannon, always great to talk with you.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Thanks so much for being with us.